This is one of those hunts that anybody and everybody could go and do. It is what I'll call second choice leftover Wyoming whitetail hunt. On this hunt, I'm joined by Matt Seidel from onXmaps, and I've had a relationship with Matt and the folks at onX pretty much since they started, which was I think 1 or 2 years after I started. The way I found this place is I antelope hunt south of here. And I'm driving back and forth to my antelope hunt and I'm seeing whitetails in all these river bottoms. And I'm thinking, what's the deal? It must all be private. So I got to researching it last year. I'm like, well, there's a bunch of walk-in hunting areas. There's some state land. There's a little bit of BLM land. And I'm telling Matt about it and Matt's listening. He's like, why wouldn't we go do it? Looks like good whitetail ground, but you wouldn't know it by the number of whitetails I'm not seeing. The idea was we wanted to come here and show you how much opportunity exists if you have the technology and you have the wherewithal to try figure it out. This place right here, no one applies for the whitetail tags because they think, oh, it's all private where the whitetails live. No, there's 100 acres, 200 acres, 400 acres. There's some of these walk-in hunting areas. And if you get the hunt app from onXmaps, it has all the Wyoming walk-in hunting areas on the map, in the app. So we're just driving around. Okay, here's a little piece of state land. Let's go check that out. Okay, here's walk-in area number 38. Let's go check that out. Well, getting fidgety now. I've looked at every one of these walk-in areas and I've not seen anything that looks real good. Hope I didn't lead Matt down a bad trail. But I'm gonna spend the rest of the day looking. He should be here in a few hours, but not looking good right now, that's for sure. Whew. On the first day of the hunt, I actually got here the night before and Matt said, look, I can't get there till about lunch the next day. So that first morning was just me driving around trying to find as many places as possible. I didn't really expect to see many deer and I didn't see many deer. In fact, Matt sent me a text and said, how's it looking? I said, very bleak is what I said in my text. Well, Matt, now that you're here,
yeah,
I'm sure the luck's gonna change.
Oh yeah. They're gonna start pouring out of here, out of the
think,
bushes.
Yeah, I think so. I saw all of 5 deer this morning before you showed up, so I'm counting on you.
I think I saw more on the drive.
We went to some new spots. I told them, look, these spots I've already looked at, let's go do some more searching. And so we came out to a couple of spots, kind of like you see here where I'm standing, and we're just picking them apart, glassing, looking, and it looks like antelope country, it looks like mule deer country, but there are whitetails here. These drainages that come up off these river bottoms, even if the river bottom itself is private, a lot of these drainages are state, are BLM, or are in the walk-in hunting program. You know, in Wyoming, Matt, when you tell someone, oh, I'm gonna go check this 160 acre piece, they'd laugh at you.
Yeah.
But it's kind of what we're gonna have to do to find these little pieces that the whitetails might be crossing. They might not even be on public when we first see them.
Nope.
But we'll sneak down and just wait them out in the walk-in area.
Yeah, a lot of these foothills is all BLM, and so there's just these little corners every half mile, where the BLM section goes down and touches the river. So try to get them crossing through those sections.
Yeah, and they'll be coming up some of these little bottoms. I know people are going to look at this and say that doesn't look like whitetail country, but out here
during the rut or post rut,
yeah,
looking for seclusion.
I've seen whitetail bucks up in the sage many times. There's one crossing the river at that bend down there.
Oh, really? Right there?
And then there's one working its way towards us from him. that part of the walk-in area though?
So this back road here that we were on, that he's on, you can drive down it along the river. Quite a few miles in it. It just BLM corners to the river every half a section.
Because right down here, there's another whitetail along the river there. Whitetails don't live way up in the solo alpine kind of, you know, the hunt you think of, oh, I'm not going to see anybody. Here, when you're hunting whitetails, even in the West, just like it is in the Midwest and the East, you might hear dogs barking. You might hear vehicles driving, car doors slamming. You're going to hear a little bit of everything. And it's a different kind of hunt from what we normally do. You normally see us hunting elk, and you see us hunting mule deer or antelope, and we're up in the high alpine, or we're far, far away. I don't think there's a spot that we've hunted on this hunt where we've hiked more than a half mile. I know that sounds kind of lazy for how we normally do it, but that's how it is with whitetail hunting. We're driving county roads, and where the county roads intersect state land, BLM land, maybe these walk-in hunting areas, we're just stopping, walking out on a point and glassing, setting up the spotting scope. Just, you cannot believe where some of these whitetails end up. Well, Matt, we know there are bucks here now. We can't
Quite a few,
yeah.
over 5.
We can't get footage of them because they're so far away, but I like your idea.
Yeah.
Get in a truck and just drive this side of the river and keep an eye on where these walk-in and BLM and state land parcels meet the river. What is it?
It's just knowing those boundaries, then, you know, when you see the deer tomorrow morning and we're glassing, we like, go get them. We can make our move without trying to figure out where they're at.
I'm all about that.
Yeah.
We've seen, what, 4 of them in there?
Nope.
They're just
7 or 8 does. So
down in the ugly stuff. Imagine that, whitetails down in the brush, huh?
Down in the river bottom.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Leupold Optics, the Rocky Mountain Elk Foundation, Southeast Montana Tourism. Visit Southeast Montana. Rocky Mountain Hunting Calls. We call the game. Kenetrek Boots for the trail less traveled. And by Go Hunt Insider, changing how hunts are found.
So in 2014, I was coming down here antelope hunting south of here, and I drove through here and I saw these whitetails, and that's what got me started on thinking of this hunt. But the reason I want to bring it up is that was a hunt that illustrates how I use the onXmaps systems in these areas that are really hard to access. In fact, in Wyoming's regulations, they put a little asterisk by a lot of units that says access is difficult. And just about every hunt we do in Wyoming is in one of those places with an asterisk. Why? Because tags are way, way easier to draw. And in that antelope hunt I started to talk about, that's a pretty easy to draw unit because there's so much private. Well, where I saw that antelope buck, he was on public just barely, and as quick as I stopped to glass him, he ran over to private. And he stayed there all day, but there was some other public around there, so I just set up and waited, and waited, and waited, and just like antelope do, just like sometimes whitetails do, he came over onto the public. I looked at my onXmap chip and said, yep, he's well into public. Boom! Shot a Boone and Crockett antelope doing that. If it wasn't for the confidence I have with the onXmaps chip, there's no way that I would have been hunting that pronghorn. There's no way I'd apply for this whitetail tag. Because I wouldn't know where to go. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know where can I hunt and not hunt. And the last thing I'm going to do is trespass.
We've been kind of driving around this afternoon, kind of checking out this new area, both for me and Randy. We're finding that it's a lot of checkerboard, some walk-in areas, some some BLM areas, and all the foothills here are kind of all BLM, and there's little corners that come down to the river here and there. So we've been kind of just easing in and glass in, trying to find some whitetails. This little spot we found 6 does on the BLM, no buck, but just these little spots in between the agriculture where the sagebrush kind of comes down to the river. We've been finding quite a few deer, a lot of mule deer, which we don't have tags for, but it's a lot of good cover and feed. So we'll just keep poking along. We got a couple miles of river that we can play with, and we'll get lucky one of these mornings or evenings.
So we all start deciding we're going to walk back to the truck. Well, I get to the truck and I'm taking my pack off, and all of a sudden Matt and Tyler, the camera guy who was with Matt, come running to the truck. Hurry up, there's a buck right below us here. And I'm thinking, what do you mean, like right below us? And so I grab my pack and I run over the ridge, and Matt, he's there getting ready to shoot, and I'm looking at him like, where is he? I'm thinking he's way out there, like 400 yards. He's right down below us at a little over 200 maybe. And it's the normal fire drill.
Where is he now?
Just to the right of the red brush. Left of the fence. Left of the fence.
There he is, guy. Ready?
Drilled him. Drilled him. I heard the hit. The deer jumps, runs around some brush and doesn't come out. I'm like, it looked like a great shot through my binoculars.
Felt good, felt solid. That happened super quick. All of a sudden there's bucks everywhere now in Wyoming.
Yeah, geez.
Jeez. I was driving here and Randy sent any text. Looks pretty bleak.
Told you, Matt.
No
You're
deer
like
here.
this good luck charm. What the heck?
There he is. There he is.
Wait for Randy.
Let's wait for Randy.
Sweet. Good job. Good spot. Good job.
Perfect. Nice shot.
Wow.
Congratulations.
Thanks, Randy. Yeah.
Here, I'll take that. Wow. Oh, he's got some goofy, trying to start some extras.
Yeah. Yeah, we were watching that one further out. He just walked right out here for us.
I'm laughing now, but if we can't get out of this mud hole,
Oh, we'll be.
I'm not going to be laughing.
Thank you, Mr. Deer. Good job.
Yeah, nice shot, Matt.
Easy recovery, and it's always great when you get out on the blood trail and can find the deer right away. So that was super exciting, and definitely got our excitement up after the morning report. So a really useful thing on this hunt was using that phone app and having those property boundaries for the BLM land and the walk-in areas overlapped on aerial imagery. Because when you're out here on a high point and you're glassing and you're trying to figure out the boundaries, you see some deer out there a half a mile away, and you're trying to visualize where those boundaries are, it's really nice having the boundaries on top of the aerial imagery on your phone, and you can just say, yep, he's right by that tree or he's right by that opening. It's a go or no. So it really makes you more efficient in the field, and that really allowed us to really get in on some deer and maximize our opportunities.
Yeah, folks, this was a leftover tag. Matt and I drew this as our second choice. We were the only people who even put it at a second or third choice. Somebody could have got it as a third or a leftover. So, all you whitetail hunters from the Midwest, if you know how to run the app or a GPS with onXmaps, that's all we're doing. We're driving these county roads, finding little parcels of state land. We've got these walk-in areas that you guys already have loaded on the app. And
you just poke around and see what's out there.
For a leftover tag, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Matt. Great shot.
Leupold's Fresh Tracks with Randy Newberg is brought to you by Howa Precision Rifles and Barreled Actions. Nosler, when your tag is drawn, make it count. Load Nosler up front. Sitka, specialized outdoor wear and equipment. Bowtech, refuse to follow. Arizona Game and Fish. And by Hunt by onXmaps, land ownership hunting maps.
Matt had already filled his tag, so between splitting up glass in different places or him walking a piece of brush with maybe his scent pushing deer down below me, the idea was to get a deer in front of me that maybe I could shoot.
So we've got about 100 yards, and we'll have to start angling to the left, out to the edge of the property. About 42 miles, so 350 yards, so from here. Yeah, we saw some deer right along the edge. Right. So, cool.
We're sitting on this bench overlooking a little corner of the river, and the public land doesn't quite go to the river. And we're just sitting there waiting and waiting, and the sage, it only looks like it's this tall, but it's really about this tall. And we're looking around, all of a sudden Tyler's like, a deer just stood up in the sagebrush out there. And I turn over and I look, and sure enough, it's a buck that's got 4 points on each side. He's not a huge buck, he's like a 2.5-year-old buck probably, but on a leftover whitetail tag, I'm like, I'm game. I know some people would say that's not a big buck, Randy, but we're talking about leftover tags here. I'm shooting that buck if I get a jam. We go down to a place with hardly any public land and shoot a 4-point whitetail 4x4. I'm shooting him as quick as that cow gets out of the way.
I'm dead on him right now.
And so we're getting in a shooting position, and I range him. He's 304 yards, and he's just standing there looking our direction, not sure what he's seen or what he's heard, and I'm laying down on the packs. And when he finally stepped into a little opening where I had this kind of a V of terrain or of brush that was no longer obscuring his vitals, there's a cow in the background. Well, I'm not gonna shoot with cattle in the background, even if they're a couple 100 yards in the background. Yeah, they weren't directly in my line of shooting or any of that, but I just want to be careful.
I'm on him.
Yeah. I should do it now if it wasn't for that cow. One of the problems I encountered is as this buck's moving from right to left, he's walking and he's stopping and looking, stopping and looking. The vegetation is coming like mid-line right here across his chest. His head is down. There he popped up again.
You can see him. Oh, I'm on him. I'm dead on him.
Yeah, but his whole body's obscured right now. Finally, the buck starts walking away from me, and now I got to get up and move and run around this little cut in the bench, get out there, And when I get out there, he just goes over off this little point of land that had sage on it, and he drops down by the river. And I sat there the rest of the night, and I never got a shot. Never saw him again. All I can figure is he was cruising and he's looking for some late cycle does. I could have filled that tag if I was, I guess, not worried about every little thing. But for me, these landowners who enroll in these walk-in hunting areas, there's a request, there's a sign that says no shooting near livestock, no shooting near buildings, and you just got to accept the fact that sometimes you're going to find them and you're not going to be able to take the shot.
Well, I got about a half hour left in my hunt. You're probably wondering why I'm sitting here. We were driving up to a walk-in area, and we went through this chunk of private, and out the right side window was a pretty nice 5x5 whitetail. He stood there about 60 yards away for a minute, just looking at us. And after a while, he put his head down and he started feeding this way. So I'm just gonna sit here and wait, see if something comes through.
One of the great things about a hunt like this is it's so relaxing. It is just easy, it's not physically demanding. You just spend time with a good guy like Matt. You're talking, you're visiting, you're catching up on things, and in the process, you're sorting out where the deer are. And with any luck, you find where they are, and it all comes together.